button. Make sure you hit that share button. Make sure you give us some hearts if you're on Periscope. Make sure you invite your followers. If it's YouTube, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get in.
So, again, if you...
Oh, there we go. Got it.
Probably should flip it back this way.
You probably didn't like the page yet.
Turn your radio... turn your...
Oh, yeah, make sure you turn your phones down.
I put mine on silent. Oh, I didn't know.
That's crazy, yeah.
All right, I just invited you.
Y'all added us, or we just gotta go on the page?
I will...
I'm about to invite you.
You on Facebook?
I am on Facebook.
Okay, I just sent the
You
video.
gonna put us on the page?
All right, Ivey's in. They see you sent it to Danielle?
I'm doing it now.
Huh? I
Yeah,
see
did
it.
you get it?
Yep.
Okay, I just sent it to you. Danielle.
Make sure you hit that share button. Those that are on Facebook
We
Live.
hit the heart button first. We ain't even doing that. I'm hitting heart. All right, share.
All right, we ready, DP.
Somebody's phone's still up.
Oh, it is? I'm sorry. Might be me. Yep, it is me.
All right.
All right, we ready?
Ready to go. Oh, yeah. All right. That's dope, man. That is dope.
How the DJ turn up beat on there?
Yeah, man. I mean, this is my single.
Okay.
I'm a new man and I thank God I'm not my past self. Fulfilling this checklist, so I check it off with the pen. Never looking for no exes, cause I'm always putting in work. I'ma put in work, work. I'ma put in work, work. Gotta die for my God, watch me put in work, work. I'ma put in work, work. I'ma put in work, work. Gotta die for my God, watch me put in work, work, work. Watch me put in work, work, work. Watch me put in work.
What's going on, everybody? This your guy AC the Future, and we are now tuned in to another episode of Urban City Radio, where we bring you the sounds of boots on the ground.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ice.
And we got 3, soon to be 4 special guests in the building, but right now we got 3. And go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Ivy Davis.
Hi, I'm Victoria, a.k.a. VA the Boss Chick.
Hi, I'm Danielle Verwers.
Yeah, man, we got 3 exciting guests on tonight, man. But Ice, go ahead and tell them what tonight's show is about.
Well, tonight's show, we're going to start off talking about foster care, how the process of foster care, what goes on in foster care, and also we have parents, people that was been in foster care, that has been put the adoption, and also those that is a parent of foster care. I can't talk right now.
I'm about to say you're doing a terrible job. Yeah, tonight's episode is about foster care. So we're coming from several different aspects just to give you an idea of what it is and to bring some awareness to it. You know, a lot of people don't know, but this is actually Foster Care Month. So we definitely want to highlight that. But the reason why we do the show is to highlight urban missions and urban missionaries, and because we believe there's a resurgence of believers that are being called to go back into the cities, into the communities, to highlight the gospel. And we believe that Christian rap is one of those avenues in which it shall be done. So when we get back, we'll be starting on that topic. This is Urban City Radio. Boot up.
Boot up. All right, again. Yeah, I'm trying to get my tongue together.
Can I talk now?
Yeah.
I
You
move
can
my chair
talk. Yeah.
You can talk before.
I meant, can I move my chair?
You
Sorry.
can,
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are tuned in on Facebook Live, please hit the share button. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and also like it. What's up, Crystal? Wilson. Dang, what this one second?
Oh my God, Ice. You know what? I'm about to stop you from talking, dog. That's what you're gonna be doing all night. What's going on, Chuck? It's good to see you, man. What's going on, K. Will? Tell your boy we missing him.
Oh, that is Jay.
Jay, why are you on your wife's account? I don't think I want to know.
That's it. well, Jay. I mean, hey, what's going on, Jay?
What's
How's your
going
day
on,
at work?
Jay? Good to see you. Good to see you, Jay. K, whoever.
JK.
Both of y'all won. So
that's it. There you go. But yeah, great show lined up for tonight.
and also, man, I didn't get the chance to mention it. What's up, everyone? But AC. That doesn't matter to me because we didn't start exactly at 8.
We started a minute later.
It's not that far off.
It's not.
He says Jay's a better host.
Oh, okay.
He's better at introducing the show.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, but we ain't gonna get on Jay because he's not here. No, his phone.
He's here. He's here in the spot.
He said his phone is dead.
Oh, Dustin says hi, honey.
Hey, baby, I love you.
Oh.
What's up, Chuck?
All right, I'm trying to get.
On.
Okay, got that.
Pastor Chuck on there.
What's going on, Charles? Oh, I don't know him as Chuck.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, man. So make sure y'all sharing your comments, man. Any stories or testimonies that y'all have concerning with tonight's topic. Once again, we're talking about foster care.
Also, if you have any questions, shoot them questions also. And we're back, Urban City Radio. And
Yep. So tonight, man, we're talking about foster care, and to somebody that might not seem as important as so many other topics that we've had on the show, but it's definitely a topic that we feel is of great importance and we want to share. I want to start off by saying you may have seen several commercials in times past where it comes on and it talks about issues that happen in third world countries or situations in third world countries where children are without this or without that or without, certain necessities in life, and they ask you, do you want to assist in whatever aid or whatever funding that they're desiring to reach in order to begin to send assistance to that country to help those children that are in need. And a lot of times we see things like that in commercials, and in our minds we say this is the type of stuff that happens in countries outside of America, but we don't realize that even in American soil we have certain issues kind of similar to that. One of the things I want to highlight and bring out while we're dealing with this topic is when you think about the idea of foster care, a lot of people don't really know that there are roughly over 400,000 children in the U.S. that are in the foster care system. Over 400,000 in the U.S. alone. And it says out of that number, approximately only 100,000 are waiting to be adopted. So today we want to definitely deal with the topic of foster care and just bring awareness to the fact that it exists. We have three lovely guests here who introduced themselves earlier. Go ahead and reintroduce yourself for everybody that's tuned in live.
Hello, I'm Ivy Davis.
Hey, I'm Victoria.
And I'm Danielle Verwers.
And each one of these ladies that we have here tonight has a different story, a different, viewpoint of what foster care looks like and what that experience was for them. So we just want to go ahead and get the conversation kind of started. What is, just to throw a question out there, just to get the conversation started, what is foster care? What has the foster care experience been like from your point of view? Danielle.
Well, I'll go ahead and get started. I'm a foster mom. My husband and I, we've been foster parents for roughly 3.5 years. And I love what you were talking about when we were talking about kids in Africa in need. I'm a missionary right here in Columbia, South Carolina, by reaching out to children in need in our own backyards. And it is heartbreaking how many kids in our neighborhoods, in our communities, maybe in your child's school, who need someone like you to open their home so that the child in need can have a safe, loving environment.
I think that's one of the things that we struggle with is because we're so, and that's the reason I kind of made the statement. We're so consumed with the idea of helping other countries. We even talked about it on the last show how even when you think about the issues that are taking place in Flint, Michigan, a lot of times what happens here in American soil gets so easily overlooked because we're so consumed with what's taking place across country that we don't realize that this is what's happening right here in our own backyard. So yeah, we definitely wanted to make sure that people understand like this is an area where you can really get involved in your community, in your surrounding areas. I think we were talking earlier on the phone, and you were telling me something about some of the numbers, some of the statistics for South Carolina.
Sure. Right now in South Carolina, there is a crisis situation with foster care. More children in South Carolina are put into group homes than any other state in the country.
Wow.
Additionally, we have anywhere from 2,700 to 4,100 children in South Carolina in foster care at any one time.
Oh, wow.
And, when you hear those numbers, it sounds overwhelming. But there are more churches in South Carolina than there are foster children. So it wouldn't take everybody in one church to solve the problem for foster care if every single church in South Carolina gathered around one family and said, we will support you as you foster a child. We're going to bring you food. We're going to help out with babysitting. We're going to be your support system. We could literally have a miracle in our state and be the first state in our nation to eradicate the need for foster homes.
Now I want to deal with that because that is something that I never even thought about, but I'm glad that you brought it up statistic wise to say that there's more churches than there are children in foster care, and all it takes is for the church to decide one family to deal with that issue. If every church did that, then we could literally erase that problem. That's very critical.
Sounds so easy.
Yeah, it sounds easy, but it also brings, brings awareness to the fact that as a church, we should be concerned with issues like this.
Right. Because
a lot of times these are not things that you hear talked about coming across a pulpit. And I guess I would use the words in a modern church. And it's not that every church doesn't talk about it, but every church doesn't talk about it, if that makes sense. Some churches talk about it, a lot of churches deal with it, but not every single church is aware of the issue or are concerned about the issue like they should. But if we would, then that would be an issue that would be a lot easier to solve than what it is.
Well, and the reality is we are not designed to go at life alone. We need our churches to gather around us and support us in every area of life, but especially when we're talking about dealing with foster care, families that are literally on the front lines in terms of spiritual warfare, waging war on their knees for these kids, for the families, for the caseworkers and the agencies involved. We need the church. We need the prayer warriors backing us up in prayer. We need the neighbors bringing over a meal every once in a while. We can't do this alone. We're not designed to do this alone. But I believe that the Holy Spirit working through the church is powerful enough to supply all we need according to the riches that God provides.
Right.
I want to dig a little bit. You said earlier that you and your husband, y'all been foster parents for 3 years. What has that experience been like? And then we're gonna get into some of y'all's story as well. But I want to definitely, while we're here, talk about that. What was that experience like? What is it like being a foster parent?
Well, first of all, you kind of feel like you're naked. When you become a foster parent and you go through the entire process, you have agency workers coming into your house, asking you questions that maybe your best friend hasn't even asked you. So you have to be very transparent. But this is all done to ensure the safety and well-being of the children that will come to your care. Kids and their safety is of utmost importance. So making sure that the homes that these children who've experienced trauma are going into are safe, stable environments is critical. So my licensing worker, she knows all about my budget. She knows when my kids went to the ER because somebody was silly and broke an arm on a skateboard. They know all of these things. So when you decide to go in the mission field in this area, you are giving up a lot of your privacy. But I think the reward of knowing that you're helping children in need is absolutely worth it.
I think another thing is, because I did foster care a few years ago, another thing is as a foster parent, just understanding like what you're getting yourself into.
Oh yeah.
Creating your mindset to say like, okay, this child may have been through this. This child may have been through this. What where did this child come from? It was a bad family, So I think creating yourself, creating a mindset for yourself that, hey, whatever it is, we're gonna make sure we love this child. We're gonna make sure we do our best to, get this child in the right, right position to do good for themselves too.
I know for the first 30 days, literally I cried myself to sleep, ugly cry, because you have a mental assent to the fact that there are children in need, that there are kids who aren't in safe homes.
Right.
But when they come into your home and you're rocking those kids to sleep or you're reading to them at bedtime, then all of a sudden you have a heart awareness that these kids are real people. They're not just stories in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're human beings. And like you said, being prepared for that. I tried to read all the articles and read all the books to prepare myself. But when you hear some of these stories of abuse and neglect, there's nothing that can quite prepare you. If you've had any kind of normal healthy upbringing, there's nothing that can prepare you for knowing that these kids who were put into a family can't be with that family. It's heartbreaking.
And the attachment, you can get attached really quick, especially like with smaller children, from like the age because they're there from like 6 weeks to whatever age. So for like, especially like the smaller children, you get attached very quickly because they don't know any better. They don't have anything they don't know what's going on. Only thing they know is that I'm here. So what's going to happen next? So it's like, it's a way like you have to pretty much reverse their mindset as well as you're bringing in like, okay, well, I'm here for you right now, but I want to make sure that you can be good to go afterwards. And I know that like especially like the age group from like 4 or 5 age group, they remember stuff. So a lot of times they may pee the bed or whatnot, and but you have to be understanding like they've been going through something. We'll be back.
This episode, we'll be right back. But just kind of keeping the subject going. So it's definitely something to be aware of when you're thinking about fostering, that a lot of times you could be dealing with, I guess, at-risk youth that have been in very violent homes and very seen domestic violence from a very visual standpoint. And so they've become traumatized by that, which now patterns their thinking, patterns the way that they respond to discipline or whatever. How has, if any, how has that experience been for you with adjusting with, I guess, having a foster child, having to adjust with family because of whatever past experience they might have had? Has that been very difficult, or how?
Well, I think you have to be willing to look for help and willing to try different things, because when children have been through trauma, the bedwetting, it's not misbehavior, it's their bodies having difficulty processing the trauma. And that trauma, even if they're not exhibiting like typical symptoms, it's there and it comes out in different ways. So you really do have to adjust your mindset, because the symptoms you see, the angry outbursts, the throwing temper tantrums, are not necessarily what they appear to be on the surface level. I heard a great story about a foster parent from one of my trainers. She had a child get really angry. Sometimes these children don't know anything but anger. They didn't ask for this. They didn't ask to have their worlds torn apart. And this kid punched a hole in the wall. And, I can tell you what my parents would have done if I would have done that. But this foster mom knew that this wasn't related to, I want to be defiant and disobedient. This is a child who is struggling. And so she put a note on the wall by that hole that said, "I love you." So every time he looked at that hole till she got it fixed, he was reminded that there was nothing that he could do, no problem he could create, no angry outburst that would change her love for him. And that is what these kids need.
And see, I'm glad that you said that, because that's definitely what a lot of people don't get about the whole idea of foster parenting, because it's sad to say, but there are some that get into it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
And then they end up, adding more trauma to the child than actually helping that situation. So it's definitely key that you have to know what like we said earlier, know what you're getting yourself into. Ask yourself, are you really prepared for that step? What does that look like for you? I think I saw an article where it was talking about, when people go into foster care, a lot of times they have the idea of what they think a perfect child is, and what they believe their perfect adopted child would be. But that's not always the case when you think about being a foster parent. And so you have to be really ready to adjust to the situation at hand and be able to adapt to everything that's taking place.
Absolutely.
But when we come back from this segment, man, I want to go from a different perspective. We have Victoria here. I want to talk about what that was like for you as far as being a part of that system, if that's okay, and kind of give people that kind of viewpoint, because not everybody we've had the parent side, but I want to know what it's like being the person that was in the system. So definitely when we get back from break, we're going to deal with that. I was about to say, Drake Blakely said, "I've been talking about churches adopting a child for years. It comes down to the leadership in the church." Yes and no, because there are some leaders that do promote the idea, but it's also responsible for the church to respond.
Absolutely.
We're back. Urban City Radio.
Listen, if you're not following us on the live feed, you're missing a lot of great info because we don't stop the conversation when we go. We don't stop the conversation at all. But yeah, we're talking about foster care, and we've had Danielle's been sharing the ideas and the viewpoints of being a foster parent. But now we want to know what it's like being a foster child, and we have Victoria here. I wanted to know, what was that experience like from your standpoint?
Well, for me, I felt like everything I knew was like literally ripped from me. You know what I mean? I was only like eight and a half or so.
Yeah.
It was worse. It felt like the worst thing ever in my life. Like I literally was like scratching the walls and trying to pull the doors. They was literally pulling me out of the house from my grandma, because I was living with my grandma because I had been with her for like since I was like 2 weeks old. And but the parent that I had in particular, the lady that I was with, she was really good to me.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't understand that as a child at that time, because I was always running away trying to go back home like every other day.
Yeah.
But for me, I learned a lot from her. You know what I mean? I had like, I guess this would be the parent that I had, you know? So I went through a lot, like emotionally, but I wasn't in a bad home.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? But for my my cousins, they were in a bad home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were treated real bad, and it wasn't so good for them. You know what I mean? But like I say, my experience wasn't too bad. I just, as a kid, it just flipped me upside down. Like, it's just, what is this? Why are you taking me from everything I know? I don't really understand. I don't get this. Why are you doing this to me? Yeah. And no matter how nice she was to me, I wouldn't accept it.
Because of the shock
right.
from being so, like, as that child, as those thoughts were going through your head, what were some of the things that, I guess, as you grew older, that you learned how to deal with that process? Or did you ever get to that place?
I did. And when I got old enough to understand, I actually I looked her up and I gave her a call, and I was always keeping in touch with her. And I told her, you know, I apologize for things that I did as a kid. You were really good to me. And I would check on her every now and then or whatever. I hadn't spoken to her in a long time, but I would check on her. But the thing that I learned from that experience is, like, I am the best mother to my kids. I never would wish that on anybody. Even if it was the best home, I still wouldn't, because for me, it was still the worst. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was the worst. So I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So for me, as I grew older, like with my kids, I just go extra and over beyond, like, to do everything that I can to keep my household, in order to keep my kids happy, to keep them in school, to make sure that they do what they need to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What they need to do as far as the system, everything. Like, I don't need no problems. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the thing that I definitely want people to know, based off of your experience, is that being a child, sometimes the trauma of being snatched out of that family is so severe that it doesn't matter where you're placed.
Especially when you're old enough to understand. You know what I mean? Like, you're old enough to understand certain things is really hard. And like, even when I came back, I still couldn't live with my grandma. I was living with my aunt, which was cool. You know what I mean? It was still family. I could still go to my grandma's house and stuff like that. But it's just, I wouldn't wish it on. I would want every kid to be with their mother. You know what I mean? Unless it's a situation where they're younger, and you know what I mean? But if they old enough to understand, and it's just, you can have the best environment, but if you take a kid from everything that they know, it's still the worst.
And I think that's something else that I wanted to bring out, because a lot of people, they think about adopting, first thing goes to their mind, they want to start as young as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the reality is, you know, there are children ages 10 and up that are in situations that are in foster care, and they need to be adopted. But you know, psychologically, that's not the mentality that everybody has, to go adopt at an age like that, or to be a foster parent at an age that, you know,
you're gonna get some kids that they're gonna reject it, and you're gonna go through a lot. You got to be prepared to deal with what's gonna come. That's like what she was saying. You just never know how they're gonna react to it. Like the way that I was acting all out and didn't want to do this. She could have just been this crazy lady, you know what I mean? But she had a lot of patience with me. But not everybody's gonna be like that. Yeah, you know what I mean?
They were saying, like, out of the children, 30,000 of them age out every year without families. So, I was with a lot of things that go on. Like you said, the age group, like teenagers, are like one of the last ones to be chosen to go, because of the fact because they know exactly what's going on. Is it, excuse me, do you think a lot of times that because they know what's going on, or do they have that they just don't want to be bothered? They don't want to be anywhere. They just want to take care of themselves. Because a lot of times, this is where they actually go into the street life because of the fact they feel like they can take care of themselves.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
It's not really answering your question though, because it made me, when you said teenager, it made me think about it. The lady that I was with, she had a girl that had turned 17, so she could no longer be there. But she'd been there like most of her life. This girl literally cried and screamed. She did not want to leave.
Wow.
She did not want to leave, and I remember saying, "Well, I'll go." You know what I mean? She said, "I'll go," but I mean, she literally cried. But she told her, "You're getting too old. You can't stay now," because she was getting more kids and just trying to continuing it to help. But that girl, she fought. She did not want to leave. She was so happy there. She did not want to leave. She did not want to go back to her family.
And see, that's even more key, because then that's when you start going into the idea of, besides fostering and actually talking about adopting. And it's different. And I think maybe Danielle can expand on that and the differences between, just being a foster parent and actually adopting.
Sure. First of all, I'd like to refer anybody in South Carolina who's interested in fostering or adopting. The best place to start is heartfeltcalling.org, where you can get the real official information about the differences and requirements, and you can touch base with a person who is licensed to tell you all the pertinent information. But foster care is designed to be temporary. Foster care is an opportunity for a child to come into, hopefully, a really healthy family, to see some good life skills demonstrated, and to learn some of those skills to take with them back to their home.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
As I got older, it's a lot of things that she taught, even church.
Yeah.
Remember I was telling you, she took us to church every Sunday. I was not going to church every Sunday before I got in foster system. I knew of God, but I didn't know God.
Yeah.
But she made sure I was sleep sometimes, but she popped me and make me get up. But she, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She taught me that, and then she also taught me thrifting. Oh, that came in handy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So those are life skills, budgeting, building a support network, through the body of Christ that she taught you. Even though you were there for a short period of time, you took that with you for the rest of your life. So that's what foster families do. They're equipping children with skills for healthy living. So when they go back to their families of origin, they're stronger. That entire family is stronger. And the parents who were unable to keep the child for whatever reason, they have had some time to get stronger as well. We're all about strengthening the families of origin. And foster parents right now, we're really pushing shared parenting, where the foster parents and work closely with biological families when it's safe and appropriate, because some things are not taught.
Yeah.
Right.
Some things in life are caught.
Right.
And if you've never been around a healthy family, you just don't know what it looks like. And so having that one small relationship, those short interactions, might be just the thing you need to fuel you to make better choices.
Right. And I got to give her a joke. She better hope they don't run into a kid like me. Talking about they doing half and half. She is going to run.
Yes.
She's going to run.
Oh, you have to tell your story.
Joking.
You have to tell your story.
She's going to run. Let me tell you, she would sneak to take me to see my family. And oh my God, she take me to see my grandma. Everything cool. We chilling. It's time to go.
Yeah.
I'm scratching the walls trying to stay. Like they pulling me out. I'm riding in the car, watching the way, like leaving there. I'm on like 8.5.
Yeah.
I'm trying to watch direction. So as soon as we pull in the driveway and she opened the door, I'm gone. Took off running. She called my aunt. My Aunt Regina used to always come and get me. She done ran away again. And she couldn't run behind me because she was an older lady.
Yeah.
But, that's a good thing that what you're saying, work closely with the parents. But I was just joking around. They better watch out for kids like me because they will run. So
another thing, too, working close with the family is you have to understand that some foster care parent, biological parents are in a situation where they have no choice.
Right.
And it is being able to work with that parent and understand, like, okay, this is what we're doing. You want you to continue to try to keep this up too. And they're in the bad living situation or in a bad situation where they can't help it because of the fact they're just in that situation. And they want the best for their child. They understand that the best for the child is probably for them to be in foster care, but they just want them there with them and being able to work together to help that child grow is a great thing also.
Yeah. This is Urban City. We'll be right back. Boot up. All right, when we come back from the commercial break, Miss Quiet over here, our third special guest for the night, my wife, she's gonna tell her side of what the foster care experience, and then after we deal with that segment, our special fourth guest has just walked in the building. Dr. Brown is gonna be sharing with us about Operation Veteran Hope. So we'll be dealing with a lot, man, when we come back from break. Dustin says, "Perfect child, we're not perfect. How can someone expect a child to be perfect?" And
that's a good statement, because you can't, man. It's like you're not perfect. You messed up so many times. So why are you trying to make somebody better than what you want to be? I mean, you can, but you just have to teach.
I mean, I think it just goes down to expectations, and we all have our ideas of what we think everything should turn out to be. But the reality of the situation is a lot different, and I think it goes back to what everybody was saying, even with VA's testimony about her. It's a very real situation, But I think the other side of that is we need people like her foster's mom, who was willing to stick it out and be there regardless of the rebellion, regardless of her temper tantrums, regardless of her situation.
She was very patient.
Yeah, and see, that's what these children need. Somebody who's going to be patient with them in the while they're able to get out, because they need a place where they can let out the steam, the emotion, the aggression that they're holding up because of whatever experience, whether the trauma came from what actually happened in the house, or if the trauma came from the experience of being removed. Because sometimes the trauma, like VA said, wasn't what happened.
Right.
It was being taken from that environment.
You know what I thank God for, though? Because because of some of the people that I know that has went through the foster system, like, I thank God that I'm not bitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you still have people that, like, just so bitter. You know what I mean? Like, and I know a few different people that has went through the system, and I just thank God that I turned out different. You know what I mean? I'm not carrying everything that I've been through. You can't just look at me and see it, or I speak and you can hear it in my tone, type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that.
And I think, go ahead.
I will say, in South Carolina, most of the children who are coming into care, it's not necessarily abuse, but primarily neglect. So situations where maybe mom and dad don't have a car, and so child's not at school. And so that brings the law in when the child is
and that was my situation.
Right.
Like, my situation was because we weren't in school the way we're supposed to be.
Right.
And because my family members, grew up in a drug family.
Yeah.
And the cops were kicking in our door like every week. We had to move all the time, and that's what kind of, caused my situation to happen.
And a lot of addicts learn to be really highly functioning, and children love their moms and dads.
Right. Because you know what I noticed, though, that I didn't even realize? Like, at that age, I remember this one time I had the foster lady, she had a birthday party for us at McDonald's, and I never forget. This is the time when I remembered I literally cried for my mama. Like, it was the time that you know what I mean? That I remember it was that attachment, but it's not that familiar to me as a grown-up. You know what I mean? But I remember this one time, regardless of the couple of times when I got older or whatever, different stuff, but I remember, because you know how, like, your kids are with you, and it's just that bond, and you just have that. I remember that one time when I was in the foster system, and we were at McDonald's, and I didn't want to leave. She came by the party, and that was the first time I seen her in like a long, long time. Wow. But other than that, I didn't really, like, I just didn't, you know what I mean? I had that attachment to my grandma, not to her.
Yeah.
So it was different.
All right. And we're back, Urban City Radio, where we bring you the sound of boots on the ground. Listen, if you're watching the Facebook Live feed, you've probably seen our special guest, Dr. Brown, has just came into the building. He's going to be talking with us about veteran support that later on in the show. We'll get to that in the next segment, but we want to definitely go ahead and finish the conversation that we're having about foster care. And I wanted to bring in my wife. She has a different side of the whole segment of the idea of foster care and adoption and all of the different things that we talked about. Go ahead and tell them what perspective that you have.
Well, my perspective was kind of different in the sense because I had this child that I loved that, well, first let's say I had a child before, and right after I had him, I was expecting another child that, I couldn't take care of, didn't have a place, didn't have a job, wasn't in school. So it was like, in a sense, I would be bringing another child on my parents and not on me. So I felt like I needed a way. Somebody needs to help me. So when I found out when I was pregnant, it was like, okay, I need to figure out the adoption plan. So when the adoption plan came, I didn't want to just give my child to just any old random person. So we found people that are close family members to our family, and so that's what I did. And it was during the process, it was easy, but when it came down to the real thing,
Right.
as far as after I gave birth and signing the
You done
papers,
got attached. Yeah.
it was that bond, and it hurt so bad.
But
I believe you.
I want to definitely deal first with just what were, I guess, some of the things that kind of made you say adoption is the right step. As a mom, you were already a mom, so it wasn't like this was a scary experience about being a mom. You were a mom, and you knew what having a child was. So in that thought process, what was that said, okay, adoption is the right thing to go?
Well, first, I couldn't take care of them, and second, abortion wasn't. I thought about abortion, but I was like, I didn't have the heart to do that. So I chose adoption because I felt like he'll be placed in a better home. Somebody will be able to take care of him, give him the love, feed him, groom him to the man that he needs to be. So that's why I chose adoption. Now, it wasn't easy, but like I said, after I gave birth, it was like that attachment kind of just grew apart. And it was hard. And even after I finalized the papers, I chose a open adoption because I wanted to be able to see him and he see me. And to this day, I have gotten better, but it's some days I still have my days to where, it hurts really bad thinking that, I have all my other kids.
But you got the open adoption, so you know what I mean? That's still good. Some people do it and just kind of like, back all the way up. So
yeah, I chose the open adoption because I did want to see him and get to know him a little bit. I didn't want to just send him somewhere and I don't never see him.
Right.
But to this day, it gets hard, and I thank God for people like Danielle because you take on these kids and you love them and you nurture them, and that's kind of what I wanted for my child, which he has.
Right.
So abortion wasn't even the question. So,
and can I just say something?
We're gonna duplicate you.
I think that it takes more bravery and strength to look at the situation and say my feelings want to hold on, but I know that God has plans for this child, and I know that the right thing for me to do is to do this. That's phenomenal.
Right.
And the fact that
so unselfish.
It is.
Right.
And I think, and then one of the reasons why I definitely wanted my wife to talk about that is because even when people think about foster care, I know you brought up a great point, Danielle, when you talk about when a lot of the kids in South Carolina are basically in the system because of neglect. But I know that that's not necessarily the statement for every child in foster care. Some children are not. Some children are sent to foster care because the parents don't want to deal with that child no more. And so these are real issues that some people can get to that place mentally where they don't know what to do with the child. Right. But I wanted to bring my wife on because in that moment, instead of her having a fearful moment or reacting with abortion or some of the other things that some people can do when they have those moments of fear. One of the things she did, like you said, it took courage. It takes a different type of strength, but to decide, okay, instead of just abandoning all responsibilities, let me start making steps to make a plan for a better life for the child that I didn't believe I could give them myself. That's a different level of strength.
It did not, I couldn't have did it on my own. It really had to take God himself to help me because I was really going into a depression after, I had him and going home and not having him. It was just like I really had to think on the positive as he's being taken care of, he's being loved. And then it really took God to help me through that because it was hard to bond with a child and have to not give away, but place them in another family.
Right.
And I think God sometimes does that on purpose. He brings us to places where we are forced to rely on strength that is not our own, whether it's through putting your child up for adoption, being in foster care, or being a foster parent. You know, we are not designed to rely on our own strength. We're designed to rely on Jesus Christ and the power of the Holy Spirit within us. And we're either going to get on our knees voluntarily
He gonna force you.
or we're going to find ourselves in situations where we're going to realize, I cannot do this on my own. I need some supernatural strength here.
I
I
agree.
actually went to counseling because I really felt like I was just going through, and she could not even help me. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, you're going home to your kids. You know, I'm talking to you about mine, but you have yours. So it's like, she couldn't even help me. And my parents were supportive, but they have us. So it's like nobody could relate to how I was feeling with with the whole adoption. I had nobody help, but I had to rely on God. Like, it really felt like he pushed me into a brick wall. It was like, I am your help.
Mm-hmm.
And so after I relied on him, and it got easier and easier. I had my moments, and some days I take it out on him, but I will pray through it. And like I said, I get to see him, and me seeing him and see how he's growing and see how spoiled he is, it just makes me feel like I did the right thing.
Another thing is that shows that you're a great mother,
Yes.
because you actually kept your child out of harm's way. Knowing that you couldn't, knowing that you did not have the funds, did not have the way to do what you need to do as a mother, but you put him in a situation where, hey, I know that you're good here,
Right.
and I know you're going to be taken care of. That's beyond. That shows more love than you just say, hey, I'm gonna put myself in this situation and struggle.
And
So,
I didn't mean to cut you off, but what you just said, that's how I learned to forgive my mama for giving me to my grandma at 2 weeks old. As I got older, and I saw her like really took a real look at, because I used to look at it as, you gave me up because you chose drugs over me. You chose that. Oh, that's how I used to always look at it. But until I sat down and really thought about it, like, what could my life have been like out in the streets with her, with doing all of this stuff? She did the right thing by you. Why you so mad at her? And that's how I learned to forgive my mama for giving me up to my grandma, not being there for me. I even did a short film about it, a little short about it. And that's how I learned. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we just be so stuck on, oh, you hurt me, so you this and you that. You know what I mean? Like, especially with a parent.
Yeah.
And I was so stuck on that. But once I got past that, and once I really took a real look at her life, you know what I mean? And it's like, where would I have been?
Yeah.
So what, I went through a lot of different things coming up, but it could have been worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how I learned to find forgiveness for my mom, for what she did.
What was I say? I was about to say, one of the things that I definitely I like about this forum is that it brings 3 different perspectives of what it's like to be there for a child, to be that child, and to want to be that person to see that child get help. And one of the things I want people to be aware of is that there is a system out here that could use a lot more attention than what it's getting, and that's the foster care system. There are children out there that have been in real life situations, and they need to, like Danielle said, need to experience what a loving family is like, even if it's not for the rest of their lives. That moment that they're with you,
Take them with you from the rest of your life.
yeah, they're gonna have that for the rest of their life. So it's imperative that we be aware of these things. So I definitely appreciate y'all ladies for being on the show. We're gonna pass out. So we're gonna definitely get Danielle at a later portion of the show to give out some of the information concerning foster care. If you want to be a part of it, how to get a part of it, where you can go. But when we come back from this commercial break that we're on now, we'll be talking with Dr. Glenn Brown of Operation Veteran Support, and we're gonna get to know who he is, what it is that he does, and exactly why we have him on the show today. So we'll be back. Urban City, boot up.
Boot up.
We need to duplicate you, Danielle.
I don't know about that. I think the world can only handle one of me.
Well, the kids can handle a lot.
But yeah, I think just kind of giving some more buzz. But I think that's definitely great that that people were able to see all three sides, because a lot of people don't know what's going through the mindset of a child. And and even from that aspect, even though my wife, I know hers was more so deciding adopting, but it's good to know what that parent goes through, because some parents that don't really want that child to go, but they just don't have the necessities, the needs, or the right mindset to take care of. And there's some things that they deal with, but it goes back to even you saying spending time with the family while fostering, that they can see what a good family unit looks like, so even they can begin to model their attitudes and their patterns to something similar.
And I really feel like these conversations are shining a light on the darkness that shame brings, whether it's shame from, choices or that you made, or choices that somebody else made. Shame puts us in bondage. Mm-hmm. And the reality is, there's no heroes and there's no villains. There's stories. Right. And God is weaving all of our stories together to bring him glory. And so the bad things that happen to us, he's transfiguring those into good, even when it doesn't make sense to us.
Am I really sorry? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
After the whole situation, I was really ashamed about my decision, because I didn't have the support of I had the support of my mom and dad, but as far as aunties, cousins, all that, I was really ashamed, because not being racist, but they always say that our people don't do that. We'll struggle before we were put our kids up for adoption or something like that. And I didn't want that for him. So I was ashamed, and somebody asked him, well, where is he? And I'm like, oh, he's here, he's okay. And I would always block out. I would never tell them the truth, because I didn't want to go through that hurt anymore. I didn't want to hear their opinions. Right. I didn't want to hear, well, you shouldn't have did that, and girl, you're gonna lose your mind.
It's like they don't know how to be there for you instead of just judging you.
They did that, but
that's why I keep a lot of stuff to myself. And then it ain't even and also because like the whole foster care system and a lot of other things, like I don't really want people's pity, because I'm not sad for myself, so I don't want you to be sad for me. So remember when I said I haven't even brought that up in my music yet, because I don't want you to feel bad for me, because I don't feel bad for myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm blessed. Look at me. You know what I mean? My family, me and my husband might not always get along, and we go at it, but whatever, happens, whether we together or apart, we got each other back regardless. You know what I mean? And we got these beautiful kids. God bless us with everything that we need. You know what I mean? So what is there to complain about? It turned out good for me.
Yeah, and I think that's...
You too.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing that we got to keep in mind, too, is when you think about, our life story, so many times we've allowed people to keep us from being able to share those hidden parts. But it's those hidden parts of our lives that give hope to somebody else that might be dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you've been through that, but your life is now a success story.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Now when I'm finally at that point where I feel comfortable enough with some of my stuff, you've heard some of my music. My music is totally different now. You know what I mean? Like different things, and I'm just cool with it now.
All right, so
we're back, Urban City Radio, and we have Dr. Glenn Brown of Operation Veteran Support. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown, and good evening, I believe we'll see.
Good afternoon.
All right, it's good to have you in the studio. So, real quick, because we don't want to waste any time, we want to make sure you get all your information out. Go ahead and tell the people exactly why you're here today.
Well, the reason why I'm here, the name of our organization is called Operation Veteran Support, where we help veterans get all the support that they deserve.
Yes, sir.
And this Saturday, we have a pre-Memorial Day giveaway and celebration. There might be a lot of veterans and people that may not be able to get out on Memorial Day. So we're doing it a week early.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to have we're located at 3600 Colonial Drive. That's near Richard Memorial Hospital. We have a huge facility there, and we're going to have a concert, and we're going to have a barbecue, and we're going to be giving away clothes, and we're going to be giving away foods.
Yes, sir.
And so if you know someone that might be going on hard times, or if you just want to come out and fellowship with veterans and the community, we're going to be there from about 2:30 until 6 o'clock. And we're welcoming veterans and non-veterans.
Tell us about Operation Veteran Support.
We are a one-stop shop facility. We are a 501c3, and we help veterans to find jobs. We help veterans that are homeless. We help veterans that is going through some hard times.
Yes, sir.
We help with educational. A lot of veterans, they're not aware of some of the benefits that that's available to them and their families. So we assist in that area, and we assist veterans with their benefits. So we have we're renovating our kitchen so we could feed veterans physical food, but we also have a sanctuary that we feed veterans spiritual food. We have chaplains, so we try to have just a one-stop shop.
Right.
And we handle women and men and help with children. You know, a lot of times women are left out when you say veterans, so
yes,
we try to make sure we cover everyone.
I'm looking on the flyer here, and I see that the Memorial Day celebration taking place on May 20th, 2017. You said at 3. It says it actually starts from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., but you said you'll be there as early as 2:30. Some of the things that you said, you're going to have free food, you're going to have free entertainment, free clothing giveaway, and you're going to also have a donation raffle. But I see also that you're also looking for volunteer opportunities as well.
Oh yes, because our facility is so large, and you know, we're trying to help holistic. You know, everyone don't have the same need.
Yes.
And different people have different talents. We can use administration help. We can use physical help, painting, putting clothes together, putting food packages together. So there's a lot of different areas. If you have a hobby or something that you like to do, you know, please come on.
All right. And where can they, if they're actually interested in volunteering or being a part, is there a number that they can call, a website?
Yes, sir.
What's it?
It's Operation Veteran Support.
Yes, sir.
.org. You can pull up online. That's our website. Our phone number is 803-661-9468, and we're located at 3600 Colonial Drive.
And so that's once again, that's operationveteransupport.org. The phone number is 803-661-9468, and they're also located at 3600 Colonial Drive here in Columbia, South Carolina. Make sure you go to the website or call the number up if you're actually interested in being a part of volunteering at this event. It's taking place once again May 20th, 2017, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. They're looking for volunteers, but they're also looking for people to come out and begin and they benefit from what is happening. So make sure you get the word out. We're going to post all of this information on our Urban City Radio page, also on the Freethinkers Network page. So make sure if you see the information on the page, make sure you share it, make sure you like it, make sure you help get the word out about what's taking place. Because like you said, there's a lot of veterans that don't know what's out there for them, and so this is the reason why we have this show, to make sure that people are aware of the different things that are there. But just one more time, tell the people again what's the name of your company and who you are, so they can, just to reiterate.
Yes, my name is Dr. Glenn Brown, and the name of our organization is Operation Veteran Support, where we help veterans get all the support that they deserve.
All right. This is Urban City Radio. We'll be right back. Boot up. Dr. Brown, I want to talk to you real quick. Being that you have, what sparked the desire to start this? Like, what was it that sparked it?
Well, I'm not a veteran myself.
Yes, sir.
I grew up in Charleston, and during the era when I was coming out of high school, unfortunately, they were spitting on veterans and calling them baby killers and different things. And
wow.
But I had a lot of family members that served, and I witnessed some family members that had PTSD, and I seen a lot of problems that it caused them and the family.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted to make a difference. You know, this is my way of giving back because I did not serve.
Yes, sir. And see that's great. So it's basically you saw a need and you had a desire to fill that need.
Absolutely.
That's great. That's great. And so how long has this company been in operation?
We've been in operation about 3 years.
3 years. Wow.
Yes, sir.
3 years. So that is it become more of a passion for you?
Oh, it is a passion. We went to court with a veteran today that was, at one time, he was contemplating suicide.
Wow.
And to help him, and we were there for him, and it turned his life around. And there's no amount of money in the world can buy
Right.
You know.
Yeah, that experience.
Yeah, that experience. And we make a lot of difference. We have other veterans that support their comrades, and so it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
When you're trying to be a blessing to someone else, you end up the one being blessed.
Yeah. And see, that's great, man. So we need more people like you with that mindset. But this is Urban City. We're back. Listen, we've had a great show. We dealt out a lot of different nuggets. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from the show on tonight, it's definitely to get out and get involved in your community. A lot of times, like I said earlier in the start of the show, when we think about helping or assisting people, we think about going outside of our own communities. But there's a lot of help that's necessary and needed in our communities, even here in South Carolina. Like Danielle said earlier, about 2,700, was it 27,000 or 2,700?
2,700.
2,700 different children are in the foster care system right now. So definitely there's a way and there's a need for you to get involved. Real quick, Danielle, share the information with them about where they can go if they're looking to be involved in foster care.
If you're looking to be a foster parent or an adoptive parent, I'd recommend going to heartfeltcalling.org. But maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't want to do that right now. If you check out my blog at danielleverwers.com, there are various ways listed in today's post for you to help. Maybe you want to pack bags for college kids, foster kids going to college who have no support network. There's a link to how to get involved with that. Get your Sunday school class, pack in a sack to send to a foster kid in college. So there are a lot of ideas other than being a foster parent. If you have a heart for foster care but can't necessarily get involved as a foster parent, there are ways that you can help.
Yeah. And go ahead. No, I was just about to say, I was just going to read it once again, just to reiterate with Dr. Brown event that's taking place it's a Memorial Day celebration free community event sponsored by Operation Veteran Support happening May 20th, 2017 from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. 3600 Colonial Drive, Columbia, South Carolina. This will involve free food, free entertainment, free clothing, and a donation raffle. For more information and volunteer opportunities, please call the number listed below on our Freethinkers radio page. That number is 803-661-9468. One more thing before we get ready to close out, I definitely want to give VA an opportunity to promote. You got a new project getting ready to drop.
Yes, sir. Heartprint. My new CD is called Heartprint. You can download it starting this Saturday, 12 a.m. It'll be up there. On vathebosschick.net. It's VATHA bosschick.net. Or you can follow me or Google me. Just go put in VA the Boss Chick. A lot of different stuff come up. Follow me anywhere, and I will get it to you.
Right. And to cover our last guest, babe, what do you got going on?
Well, the new Remit shirts are in. So if you haven't ordered your shirts, get them today. They are going quickly. And we are ordering some more shirts, more fashionable shirts. So they'll be in soon. So get your shirts.
Yeah.
Support.
Yeah, man, this has been a great show, man. I want to thank all of our guests for being a part. I thank Danielle, thank you, VA, thank you, my wife, Dr. Brown, thank you. We definitely got to bring you back to go ahead and dig some meat into that subject, man, because veterans is such a wide topic, and we did not do it justice on tonight. Appreciate my co-host Ice, man. Appreciate everybody in the building, everybody on SmackDown. No, SmackDown Live. What? Everybody. What was that? No, because Dustin said smack him Ivey, and I said what I saw.
We're on Facebook Live. We're not on SmackDown Live. But y'all tune in next Wednesday, 8 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Urban City Radio, where we breaking the sounds of boots on the ground.
Boot up. Really, Dustin?
He's a mess.
Oh, man. Facebook Live, we appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate the likes and the shares. Everybody out there, on social media land, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll be back next week. This is Urban City Radio. Boot up.
Boot up.
All right, and that is the show.
SmackDown Live.
All right.
I said SmackDown Live.
I don't mean
you said,
what is SmackDown Live?
It's wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah, come on Tuesdays now.
You did great.
Come on Tuesdays now.
You did a really good job. I thought you was gonna cry. He's gonna make me cry if you cried, cause I'm a crybaby. I was like, oh, don't do it. Don't do it. I was looking.
Up.
No,